All right, guys, NBA 2K rating recap for February 3rd through the 6th. We're covering 4 days worth of games. A lot of things happened. This is trade deadline week. I did break down the trade deadline moves over the course of 2 videos. So we are going to be breaking down some games that happened prior to the deadline, and then on deadline day, and then after deadline day. So there's just a whole lot to break down over the last week or so. Let's start off with the players of the month. This is overdue. The players of the month for January: Luka Doncic and Jaylen Brown. Luka Doncic in the West, sixth of his career, first as an LA Laker, was traded for a year ago. 34 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists with 1.5 steals, shot 51, 39, 75 in the month of January, led the Lakers to a 9-6 record. Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, first player of the month of his career. Obviously, a bunch of those have gone to Jason Tatum. 29, 8, and 5 for Brown over January, led the Celtics to a 9-5 record. With that out of the way, just breaking down some of the stuff I'm going to go over in this video. I didn't really get a chance to touch on any badges this week just because of all the moves. I've been changing a lot of player positions and stuff. You'll notice maybe some of the Celtics positions are changed. We'll get to them over the course of the video. I did go down, I did finish off all of the player heights and weights based off of what I found on NBA.com/game notes for every player, or every team rather. So I did also knock that out. I do base my strength ratings off of all of these. So I did update the strength ratings for about half of the league. I am going to knock out the rest of those. And obviously, we are going to knock out the rest of the league. I am desperately waiting for the All-Star break so that we could just focus in and really knock things out. As obviously having to report, make these videos, which I enjoy. They are very illustrative for me. It's led to me putting out a higher quality of work, but it has decreased the amount of time that I actually have to work on the roster. So there have been some give and take. Let's start off with the February 3rd games. 10 of those. When was February 3rd again? That was Tuesday, right? Yeah. Oh, man. We are recording this Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern time. 10 games that we're going to knock out. And this is when, this is still pre-deadline, so I still had very detailed notes on a lot of these teams. We're going to start off in Detroit, who I think they played 3 times this week. 124 to 121 over the Nuggets. They moved to 37-12. The traded players were not available, so I guess this is right after they made the Jaden Ivey trade. Cade 29-10, Jalen Duren 19-13, Duncan Robinson was 6 of 9 from 3. He's been playing a little better of late. Denver, rough game for them. 33-18 they dropped to. Christian Braun made his return to the lineup. He started at small forward in this one as they kept Pickett at the 2. 6 points in 26 minutes. 2 of 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3. Has not been as effective this year as he was last year. Spencer Jones was inactive as he was close to his 50-game limit for the two-ways. Jaden Pickett, he did get the start, but he only played 10 minutes, 5 minutes in each half, essentially the Keith Bogans, what we refer to that as. Jamal Murray, 32 points, 8 assists. Jokic, 24, 15, and 4. Watson, 17. Jonas Valanciunas, 11 points, 11 rebounds in 22 minutes. He played next to Jokic at times in the second half. Detroit can go double big as well with Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. So Detroit was as good a team as any to put that lineup out against. Obviously, they are extremely short-handed at the 4. Peyton Watson played in this game, but we'll get to why he's sidelined just a little bit. But just retouching on that, I don't have either player with their secondary position at power forward. Generally, I don't give a player a second position unless it is one of their top 10 positions, because obviously players play spot minutes here and there at the end of the coaches will do weird things for 5-second stretches for defensive purposes at the end of quarters, things like that. So a lot of that is outside of the scope of what the positions do in the game, which is basically how the AI determines like rotations and stuff. So that's why you're not going to see either of these guys play get a power forward as their secondary unless they start going to that lineup significantly more. So let's move on over to the Utah Jazz. They moved to 16-35, 131 to 122 over the Pacers. They were not able to out-tank the Pacers. Only had 7 players available due to the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. All of them were in double figures. Isaiah Collier played all 48 minutes, had 17 points, 22 assists, the youngest player in history to record 22 assists. Lauri Markkanen had 27 points in 27 minutes. Ace Bailey had 19 in 7 of 10 from the field. Cody Williams had 14. Kyle Filipowski double-doubled with 16 and 16. Bryce Sensabaugh had 20 off the bench. Steven Kalia also 18 off the bench, 7 of 9 from the field. The Jazz overall shot 57%, 50 of 88 against the Pacers. Pacers were just able to use this moment to out-tank the Jazz, held out all of their starters, as Utah has done the entire year many times. The Jazz, of course, were forced to play Lauri Markkanen just because they just had nobody else. So Cam Jones got the start at point guard, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists in 36 minutes. Take that. Jarris Walker, 24 points, played 32 minutes. And Quentin Jackson off the bench played, he had 24 points, 9 of 10 from the field in 17 minutes. So it's incredible that we've been in silly season in the NBA. Not even in March. We're doing it like a month and a half prior to the, teams have been doing this since like the end of December. It's been fucking atrocious this year. Hopefully they fix pick protections and things of that nature in subsequent, in like the next CBA or whatever, because there's so many teams who are just like incentivized to throw games now. Not even just like, trade away their players, have players held out for injury. Now they're just not even playing. They'll take guys out in crunch time, as the Jazz did in another game that we'll get to in a bit. But the New York Knicks, they got another huge win. I think this was their seventh win in a row, I believe. Moved to 32-18, 132 to 101 over the Wizards. They had 7 players in double figures. Mikal Bridges had 23. Ariel Hukporti had 12 points, 9 rebounds, played 22 minutes with Mitchell Robinson out. Yabu was a DNP-CD in this game. I put in my notes. Obviously, he was on the trade block. Washington Wizards, they dropped to 13-36. Not Austin Reeves. That's the next game of the Lakers. They essentially have let go of the rope and are giving more run to the end of their bench. As mentioned, teams are just doing this more and more. They're playing. They're just intentionally trying to lose games. Will Riley played 25 minutes, had 17 points after career high 18 in his previous game, which he also set another career high that we'll talk about during this video. AJ Johnson, who's not even with the team anymore, 14 points in 24 minutes. He had 17 in the last one, so I guess they were showcasing him. Sharif Cooper, 9 points in 19 minutes out of the G League. Wizards, of course, have a top 8 protected pick that is otherwise owed to the Knicks, so they were essentially just gifting the Knicks this win. They may also want the Nets picks in the futures to be as bad as possible. All the picks that the Knicks owe to the Nets. So that might be, they're going to want the Knicks to win as many games as possible in the short term, just to mess with the Nets probably. The Lakers, they moved to 30-19 on the year, 125 to 109. Austin Reeves, as I was saying, made his return off the bench. 15 points, 21 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. So very aggressive attacking the rim. LeBron, 25 and 7 assists. Luka had 24. Jake LaRavia was solid in this one, a 4th source of scoring, believe it or not. 18 points, 7 of 9 from the field. as the Lakers beat the Nets 125 to 109. Brooklyn Nets, they dropped to 13 and 36. They have been tanking a lot more effectively since December. Michael Porter Jr. made his return to the lineup, had 21 and 10. Day'Ron Sharpe came off the bench, 19 points, 14 rebounds. He came up in trade talks, but was ultimately not moved. Another game with the Nolan Traore and Yegor Doman backcourt. Terrence Mann was a DNP-CD, so I did end up changing the position for Yegor to shooting guard, which probably makes a little bit of sense given that 6'8", 210. He's got a shooting guard. He's got a shooting guard's body. Defensively, he was never really ever going to be a one. So it looks like the Nets are just going to rock with this lineup for the rest of the season. And this is still while they had like Cam Thomas and such on the team. But yeah, we'll get to the Nets roster in just a little bit once we recover them again. Going over to the Hawks. They moved to 25 and 27 with a 127-115 win over the Heat. Kristaps Porzingis was cleared to return, but he didn't play in this one. Obviously, they intended to deal him to Golden State or any team, and they just wanted to put the news out there that he was cleared, just so that teams would be okay with trading for him. Jalen Johnson, 29, 11, and 11. How many triple-doubles has he had this year? I've lost count. CJ had 26 off the bench, 6 of 9 from 3. Corey Kispert with 13 in 28 minutes off the bench. Zachary Risache, 7 points in 23 minutes by comparison. Still not doing much. Kispert's just a better player. I'm going to say this multiple times throughout the year. Miami, they lost to the Hawks in this one. 27 and 25 they dropped to, still just hovering around the play-in spot. Wiggins was out in this one, joining Tyler Hero and Norm Powell on the sidelines. So Simone Fontecchio, he got the start at the 4, had 18 points. Myron Gardner, he got the start at the 3, had 14 points. Bam had 16 and 14, but he was only 4 of 16 from the field. So Hawks win this one pretty easily. Celtics, they go to 32 and 20 with a 110-100 win over the Mavericks. Anthony Simons did get traded on this day, so they did not have a backup point guard. And then they decided to move Peyton Pritchard back to his sixth-man role. 26 points, 35 minutes for him. Derek White started at the point guard, 11 points, 8 assists. So I did change his position to point guard. Realistically, he may have actually been starting there the entire year with Peyton Pritchard functioning more as like an off guard. But I do officially make that swap now that Simons is gone. It did change the dynamic of their rotation a little bit. Baylor Shireman got the start at the 2 in this one, had 3 points in 28 minutes. Jaylen Brown had 33 points, 11 rebounds. Luka Garza off the bench, 16 points, 20 minutes, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 from 3. I did put in my notes that his role was in jeopardy with the Vucevic acquisition. You're going to see later on that this was actually not the case. Briefly touching on the Dallas Mavericks before we jump back to them, Cooper Flagg had a big game, 36, 9, and 6. They dropped to 19 and 31 with this loss. The Bucks, they moved to 19 and 29 with a 131-115 win over the Bulls. Kuzma got the start at the 4 with Bobby Portis out. He had a massive channeling his inner wizard game, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Amir Coffey got the start. Oh, that's right. I don't know why I'm cycling for him. He's not here. He got traded. He had 2 points in 22 minutes and a start at small forward. I guess they were showcasing him for the deadline. Pete Nance was the backup 4 in this one with Portis sidelined, although I've since moved him over to the 5. Him and Bobby Portis maybe can be swapped positionally. It's kind of eye of the beholder who the 5 really is. But backup 4 minutes for him, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 27 minutes, 6 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. He's been awesome, definitely worthy of a standard contract. We'll see if the Bucks are able to make room for him. Ryan Rollins, 21 points, 10 assists. He's essentially been the offense since Giannis went down. Kevin Porter Jr. did miss this one due to injury, although he came back in the next one. Bulls, they dropped to 24 and 27. Kobe White played his last game as a Bull, had 21 points, 10 rebounds. Jalen Smith got the start at center with Vucevic traded that day, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5-7 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. He's probably locked in as the starter for the rest of the year. Ayo Dosunmu, likewise, his last game as a Bull, 17 points, 8 assists. Thunder, they go to 40-11 on the season with a 128-92 blowout over the Magic. SGA had 20 points in 28 minutes, but he strained his abdomen, and it came out after the deadline, or close to the deadline, right as they made the Jared McCain trade, that he's going to miss the next 5 games, basically all of their games prior to the All-Star break, which I believe means he's going to need an All-Star replacement. We'll see if the league actually does replace him, or if he is going to try to play some token minutes in the All-Star game. We'll see. But Alex Caruso, he actually made his return, so let's reactivate him. No real notes for the Orlando Magic, who dropped 25 and 24 in this one. Jalen Suggs had 20 points, which I believe is his highest output since returning from his most recent injury. Going over to the Sixers, they dropped to 30 and 21. 130. I'm sorry. Scroll down too far. 113-94. Joel Embiid, he was out for this one, but they got a solid team effort, 8 in double figures. VJ Edgecombe led the way with 25. Golden State. Actually, I don't have many notes here either. Curry was out, so Pat Spencer and Guy Santos, they led the team with 13 each. Let's just go on back over to the Suns, 31 and 20 on the year, 130-125. Colin Gillespie, career high 30 points, 10 assists. Suns still without Devin Booker. Grayson Allen and Mark Williams added 24 each. Dylan Brooks, still very streaky, 11 points, 3 of 16 from the field. Will not be repeating as player of the week for this week. But Portland, they dropped to 23 and 28 with this loss. No Avdia once again due to his back injury. I am actually going to sideline him. I think he played one of these games this week, but then he sat out the next one. Or he's been out the last 3 or 4 games. I'm not 100%. I guess, you know what? Rather than spread bad information, let me just click his basketball reference and see. His last game was January 30th. Yeah, so he's actually been out for about a week. Jeremy Grant had 23 points. I don't have any other notes for the Blazers. So let's hop into the February 4th games, or 7 of those. That was Wednesday, the day before the trade deadline. Knicks, they got another win over the Nuggets, 33 and 18. They moved to 134-127 in double overtime over the Nuggets. Jalen Brunson leading the way with 42 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and near triple-double for him, which doesn't happen too often because he doesn't really get the rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns, 24 and 12. Josh Hart is day-to-day, so Jordan Clarkson got the start in this one. Denver, they dropped to 33 and 19. Jokic had a massive triple-double, 34, 14, and 10, but he was only 10 of 27 from the field, including 1 of 13 from 3. That's going to do some damage to his shooting, his three-point rating. Jamal Murray, 39 points, 15 of 33, 3 of 14 from 3. Likewise, Peyton Watson, 10 points, 33 minutes, 4 of 13 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Those 3 combining for 29 of 73 from the field, 5 of 33 from 3. Gross. Watson, only 33 minutes in this double overtime game because he strained his hamstring, and he's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So the Nuggets are right back to the next man up mentality that they've had to run with the entire year. Cam Johnson's still sidelined. He should be back this month. They're desperately going to need him to come back and basically start at the 4. Otherwise, it's going to be Zeke Naji and or just small ball lineups with like Spencer Jones as the 4, I guess, playing a massive amount of minutes. Denver, though, their depth has really been tested this year, but so far they've answered every single test. So we'll see what they're able to do in February. Minnesota, they moved to 32-20 on the year with the 128-126 win over the Raptors. They had 7 in double figures. Edwards with 30. Bones Highland had 20 off the bench, notable because the team traded Mike Conley earlier in the day. Of course, Mike Conley is actually going to rejoin the team, so this isn't as big of a boon for Bones Highland's role over the rest of the year as it could have been expected, but he has kind of supplanted Conley a lot. They've since traded Rob Dillingham, so they won't have to gift him, any more token minutes. But probably the biggest obstacle is now going to be Ayo Dosunmu being added to the team. That's going to probably play reduce Bones' minutes a lot because he was playing a lot next to Conley, if anything, in like these small ball type of lineups. So we'll see what kind of role those two guys have as essentially the fourth guard now in the rotation, fourth and fifth guards. Raptors, no real notes for them. They've been doing a team-wide, just a great team effort for them basically the entire year. Ingram, 25 points. Barnes, 22, 10, and 8. IQ, 23 and 8 assists. Going over to Boston, they got a blowout win over the Rockets despite Jaylen Brown and Sam Hauser being out of the lineup. They moved to 33-18 on the year. Luka Garza got the start at power forward, had 19 points and 6 rebounds. That's right, the Celtics out double-bigged the Rockets. Ron Harper Jr. got the start at small forward rather. 11 points, 9 rebounds, played 33 minutes, biggest minutes of his career. Baylor Shireman starting at the 2, 15 points, 10 rebounds. Derek White at point guard, 28 points, 8 assists. Pritchard off the bench again in his sixth-man role, 27, 5 of 10 from 3. Neemias Queta had 10 points, 19 rebounds, 7 of those offensive. Rockets were out-rebounded in this game, 57-38. Oh boy, they missed Steven Adams in a big way. 20 offensive boards for Boston compared to 12 for Houston. Celtics, essentially just beat them at their own double big game. Houston, 31-18, they dropped to. Their offense has like completely bottomed out. They're near the bottom of the league since December. Alperen Sengun has struggled with his shooting a lot. 13 points, 5 of 12 from the field in this one. KD also didn't get it going. 15 points, 4 of 11 for him. I probably got to drop Sengun's rating down just a little bit. Just based on his efficiency woes. It's probably time for Reed Shepherd to go down a little bit too. There's been so much happening in the league that I haven't really gotten to clean up some of the mid-range type of players. Milwaukee, they got another win this time over the Pels in overtime. They moved to 20-29 on the year, 142-137. Ryan Rollins with 27. Kevin Porter Jr. was back in the lineup. Had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists off the bench. AJ Green had 20 with 6 of 12 from 3. Amir Coffey got another start, 16 points, 7 of 8 from the field in what would be his last game as a Buck. I guess that's what convinced the Suns to trade for him. Pels, they dropped to 13-40. Murphy ended his cold streak in a big way, which he did a little bit earlier in the week, but this just cemented it. Exploded for a career-high 44 points, 15 of 28 from the field, 12 of 19 from 3. I got to boost his three-point rating. 5th highest three-point makes in NBA history. Obviously, Klay Thompson is the all-time leader with 14 in a game. Sadiq Bey had 22 in this one. Zion, 20 and 8 assists. Both teams combined for 45 threes, so there just was not a lot of defense played in this one on the perimeter. San Antonio, they went to 34-16 with the 116-106 win over their division rivals, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Take the season series from them. Wemby, 22-14. Fox, 15-10. Keldon Johnson adding 25 off the bench. OKC, they actually just threw in the towel in this one against San Antonio. benched all their key players. They had 8 players active for this one, realizing that with Shea being out with his strain, they really didn't have much of a chance in this one. So they played Kenrich Williams, led the way with 25 points, 9 rebounds in 35 minutes. Jalen Williams got the start at the 5, 24 and 12 in 40 minutes. Aaron Wiggins had 20. Cason Wallace and Isaiah Joe were the starting backcourt. And then all 3 two-way players were the 3-man bench unit. Worth noting before we move on, Chris Youngblood actually waived by OKC as he had hit his 50-game limit, and they don't really have anybody that they can really cut in order to make space for him on the roster. So they just did him a solid and released him so that he could join another team in possibly in free agency, find another opportunity. They didn't want to just like send him down to the G League, so letting him try and get an NBA opportunity. I think I can't remember if they actually signed another player. Let me just actually Google that real quick. Yes, they signed Buddy Boeheim. That's right. Buddy Boeheim. He didn't play last year, so he's not in the game, but he did play for the Thunder, I believe, 2 years ago. So I was just waiting for 2K to re-add him to the game, and then I'll basically, I don't like to waive players. So what I'm actually going to do is, even though he's not joining the Oklahoma City Blue. Oh no, I actually did this. So I actually duplicated him. I did put him on the blue, and then once Buddy Boeheim gets re-added, I will overwrite him. Essentially, let's actually, because you can't get players in the free agent pool, or else it like bricks their contract. I've been importing players rather than like waiving them. So just to show you the trick that I have, I just don't want players to hit the free agent pool. So who's the team that doesn't have the 18th man? I believe it's Milwaukee, right? So I'm just going to copy this this dummy player over here, who's basically just going to be a stopgap for that third two-way spot. Because if I release the third two-way spot, I'm not gonna be able to get that that third guy on the roster until then. So let's actually just change this guy's position to shooting guard. And then once Buddy Boeheim gets re-added, I can just do the same thing, import him and overwrite this guy. So that's one of the constraints that I've had to deal with only in NBA 2K26. Let's go on over to the Memphis Grizzlies. They moved to 20 and 29 on the year, 129 to 125. Ty Jerome, season high, 28 points, 7 assists, 10 of 14 from the field. He has been on fire since making his debut. I did remove a debuff that I had applied to him to make sure that his overall rating was not too high, but he clearly deserves it. He's basically the best healthy player on the Grizzlies right now, so 83 overall for him, +2. Cam Spencer has been coming off the bench, but he's still been killing it. 20 points for him. He's this year's Ty Jerome. Santi Aldama got the start at the 5, had 12 and 6 in this one. Gigi Jackson started at the 4, had 16 points in 27 minutes. I don't want to change anybody's position as of yet, as we were still waiting for some of these guys to come over, get their physicals, all that stuff. So Sacramento, and the Grizzlies beat the Kings, of course, canning the Kings their 10th straight loss. Sacramento, they got their debut for DeAndre Hunter in this one. Also returns for Russell Westbrook and Domantas Sabonis. Hunter was at the 4. Precious Achiuwa was a DNP-CD, so I did change Hunter's position. 9 points, 26 minutes. Sabonis had 24 and 15. DeRozan had 20. Devin Carter was the backup point guard in this one. 10, 6, and 5 for him after they basically buried him the entire year behind Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. Malik Monk, 13 points in 18 minutes. I guess that's kind of by default the backcourt that they're going to be running with over the rest off the bench over the rest of the year. Cleveland, they moved to 31 and 21 124-91 over the Clippers. Obviously, they had just traded for they traded for DeAndre Hunter, so Dennis Schroeder, he made his debut, 11 points, 6 assists, 19 minutes off the bench. Keon Ellis, 6 points, 19 minutes off the bench. Mitchell had 29. And worth noting that this was the day that the Cavs traded Darius Garland and James Harden for each other. But they were able to beat the Clippers by 30, who also happened to be the team that they played on this day. So the Clippers, they dropped to 23 and 27. They held out Ivica Zubac. Little did we know it was because he was going to be traded. So Brook Lopez got the start. He had 5 points in 23 minutes. Kawhi Leonard led the way with 25. Collins had 19. Yannick Niederhauser, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4-4 from the field, 25 minutes. I anticipate that he could have a big second half of the year with Zubac traded. And then knocking out the February 5th games. Those are the Thursday, the trade deadline. 8 games were played that day. Washington, again, we're going to go back to them. They moved to 14 and 36, 126 to 117 over the number one East in the Eastern Conference, Detroit Pistons. 8 players in double figures for the Wizards, 54% shooting for the Wizards. Career high, Will Hardy again, 20 points in this one. So he's obviously got a clear runway to minutes now since they've traded Chris Middleton and other guys. So expect big things from him in the second half. Pistons, they were healthy for this one. Definitely trying to win. Cade, 38 and 8. Jalen Duren did leave the game with knee soreness, only played 12 minutes. But yeah, I have questions about the Pistons' half-court offense. Once it comes to the playoffs, definitely struggling to score against Washington. I don't know. Kevin Huerter, he made his debut, 2 points in 6 minutes. They probably should have made a move for Michael Porter Jr. They're 27th in three-point shooting. This is a major weakness on the team. They really just have Duncan Robinson. Hey, maybe they'll sign Malik Beasley on the last day of the season. But yeah, not the best outside shooting team. This is a weakness that can get exposed come playoff time. They opted not to address it at the deadline. Orlando Magic, they moved to 26 and 24 with the 118-98 win over the Nets. Triple-double for Jalen Suggs, 15, 11, and 11 with 3 steals and 4 blocks. You should expect fat lines against the Nets rookie backcourt over the rest of the season. So I'm not going to read too much into this for Suggs. He's been healthy, though. He did have 20 in the previous game. It looks like he's kind of over his latest injury. Desmond Bane had 23, Paolo Banchero 22, Mo Wagner 14 points in 12 minutes. He's knocked Goga Bitadze out of the rotation for the most part. Brooklyn, they dropped to 13 and 37. Yegor at shooting guard, 26 points, 6 of 10 from 3. Traore, 21 points and 7 assists. As I've mentioned, it looks like they're locked in as the starting backcourt moving forward. Porter had a rough game, 9 points, 2 of 13 from the field. Just not playing at the same level he was in December. Nets didn't trade him. Maybe he had the jitters in this one, that he was expecting to be traded, but I would be surprised if he gets shut down at some point. Actually, no, he didn't. I'm sorry, he wouldn't have had the jitters because these games all happened after the trade deadline. So yeah, there's a lot of guys who probably were out just because they were moving to other teams. Porter was not traded and then responded with this complete dud of a game. Noah Clowney, for what it's worth, also had a dud, 0 points, 0 for 6 from the field. So the backcourt had it going at the total expense of the front court in this one. Atlanta, they moved to 26 and 27, clawing their way back to 500, 121 to 119 over the Utah Jazz. Jock Landale, who was traded from Utah to Atlanta, helped get the win against them. Same day that they traded him, too, I think. 26 points, 11 rebounds. It works out that they were in town to play that team, right? Jalen Johnson, 22, 16, and 15, another massive triple-double. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 23. Zachary Risacher is completely bottomed out. Goose Egg, over 8 from the field, 19 minutes. At this point, why is he even starting, to be honest? He's really just been gifted minutes over the last 2 years because he was the number 1 overall pick, but he was the number 1 overall pick in a really weak draft. Nobody really values him at that level. So at this point, I probably, if they're serious about making the playoffs, it's probably time to start giving more minutes to Corey Kispert. 20 points, 7 of 9 from the field, played 25 minutes. He's a superior player to Risacher overall. Utah, they dropped to 16 and 36. Isaiah Collier with another massive line. Another 48-minute game for him. 25 points, 11 assists. Keontae George, of course, is sidelined right now with an ankle sprain. Ace Bailey had 20 points, but he was 9 of 26 from the field in 40 minutes, so not nearly as efficient as he was in the last one. Kyle Filipowski, 15 and 17. Lauri Markkanen, 18 points. Only played 24 minutes. Didn't play at all in the last, after the 6-minute mark in the third quarter. Gosh, he must have been tired. The Jazz played Oscar Tshiebwe. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but he played over Lauri Markkanen in the second half. He closed this game, a game that they lost by 2. That was a competitive game. The Jazz have been completely fucking shameless with their tanking, intentionally throwing games. You know, even when they have players healthy, you can't force the coaches to play the players. So yeah, they just did not. You know, they threw the game, holding their best player out, and letting the worst player on their team play down the stretch against a team that obviously was playing all of their starters. It's fucking disgusting. I hope that they amend like pick protections and things of that nature, because it's just getting too out of hand. It was one thing when like a team here and there had pick protections, but now that the entire league, all of these picks that are being traded have pick protections, it's just like warping the entire competitive spirit of the whole league for the most part. Like the regular season is just like it's never been a bigger farce than it has been before. Toronto, they moved to 31-22 with a 123-107 win over the Bulls. Ingram, 33, IQ, 24. Colin Murray-Boyles, 17, 8 of 9 from the field, still starting for Jakob Poeltl, who eventually is going to come back from his back injury, maybe. RJ Barrett was out in this one, so Jacoby Walter got the start. Bulls, we got the debuts for Anthony Simons and Jaden Ivey. Ivey started, I believe, at point guard, just based on the lines. I didn't look at the minutes breakdown, the lineup data for this game, but he had 13 points and 6 assists, 3 steals. Anthony Simons, 22 points, only 3 assists. It was 6 of 13 from the field, so that makes me think that he was functioning more as the off guard. Gershon Yabusele, season highs, 15 points, 11 rebounds, played 33 minutes. Free from the Knicks. Seems clear that something wasn't right in New York. This is, immediately he played like, he did what he did back when he was playing for the Sixers. So we'll see if he maybe does this over the second half and shows that what happened with the Knicks was kind of an aberration. Maybe he continues to stick in the league rather than having to run off to Israel. The Bulls said that Yabusele said that he would be declining his player option at the end of the year as part of like making this trade. He made assurances that he would be. Maybe the Bulls want him to pick it up. Who knows if he keeps playing like this. Charlotte Hornets, they continue to just plow through the competition. They're up to 24-28 on the year. 109-99 over the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets are cratering right now. Konka Nipple led the way with 24. LaMelo had 20. Kobe White trade, for what it's worth, got amended. Hornets gave up one fewer second-round pick. They gave up 2 instead of 3. Because Kobe White's been dealing with a calf injury, he was essentially playing through the injury. He's dealt with injuries to both of his calves this year, so they're going to hold him out probably through the All-Star break. So they did amend this trade just because they realized he took his physical. They realized they were getting some damaged goods. Obviously, they want to keep him. He is a North Carolina native, for what it's worth. I didn't mention that during my trade breakdown. So he is somebody who probably will want to re-sign. Obviously, the future of LaMelo Ball maybe a little tenuous in Charlotte, although things are going well right now. He is somebody who possibly could be on the move. Going back to Houston briefly, they dropped to 31-19. They've really been like a 500 team over the last month. KD 31 in this one. Jabari 17. The only other player in double figures. Şengün, as mentioned before, he's been awful over the last month. 7 points, 3 for 11 in this one. There was a clip of KD yelling at him in this game to play some fucking defense. So, yeah, vibes are not great in Houston right now. Spurs, they dropped to 35, or sorry, they moved to 35-16 with a 135-123 win over the Mavs. 7 in double figures for them. Wemby 29-11-6 with 2 steals and 3 blocks. Steph Castle, he asked to come off the bench. He is returning from an injury, but he had 18, 7, and 6 in 22 minutes in this one. Very big line in a short amount of time. Harrison Barnes, that thus continued to start games. He's only come off the bench once in this season. 19 points, 5 of 7 from 3. So it looks like that was the right decision through and through. Dallas, they dropped to 19-32. Flag another 30-point game, 32-6-4. Najee Marshall, a near identical line, 32-6-3. 4-7 from 3 was the best shooting game of his season. Which one is the point guard in these lineups? Who knows? Daniel Gafford, 16-10 in 33 minutes. Dodged an injury scare in the previous game. Golden State, they moved to 28-14. 101-97 over the Suns. But once again, the B team wins a game for the Dubs. This time with a 22-5 run. Pat Spencer got the start over Curry, 20 points, career high 6 of 10 from 3 in this one. So best shooting performance of his life. Guy Santos, he got the start, 18 points. DeAnthony Melton also got a start, had 17 in this one. Phoenix, they dropped to 31-21. Bad loss for them as they're trying to gain position in the Western Conference. Dillon Brooks led the way with 24, but again, only 10 of 24 from the field. Very streaky. Grayson Allen, 21 for him. Suns only took 6 free throws in this game, which ultimately was the difference. Lakers, they moved to 31-19 on the year with a 119-115 win over the Sixers. Luka left this game with hamstring soreness, only played 16 minutes. He's going to get an MRI. Hopefully he doesn't have to miss extended time or anything like that, but it is, again, worth noting that the All-Star break is around the corner. Maybe he ends up being an injury replacement if it ends up being a serious injury. Austin Reeves, though, in terms of the scope of this game, he was absolutely awesome. Throttled the Sixers off the bench once again. 35 points in only 25 minutes. 12 of 17 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. So he stepped into Luka's role very easily. LeBron with 17 points, 10 assists, obviously was finding Reeves quite a bit. Reeves, I believe, only had 1 or 2 assists in this game, so he was very much looking for his shot. Philly, they dropped to 29-22. 35, 7 and 7 for Joel Embiid, but rebounding, you still want him to get more than 7 rebounds in a game as a star big man playing a lot more minutes. So yeah, a little bit disappointing on that regard. Maxey, 26 and 13 assists. VJ, 19 points, 10 rebounds. He's the one who's getting the boards in the lineup for the Sixers. Worth noting that they did sign Dom Barlow to a multi-year deal. Barlow's actually getting $3.4 million this season, which is quite a hefty raise for him. I think it's 3.4, or it might be. I think it, let me actually look it up really quick. I don't want to misspeak on this. Dominic Barlow. Like basically, it's prorated out to like being a significant raise for him. Like he's getting, like over the rest of the year, he's getting that amount of money. So he gets yes. Here we go. Here's the tweet: a 2-year, $6.8 million deal. So he's getting 3.4 million next year, and then 3.4 million this year. So he's getting that 3.4 million over the last 30 games of the season. That's what I mean. Is like it prorates to like if he was making like 8 million on the year. So huge raise for him. He's been awesome, the best two-way player in the league this year. That was all the Thursday games. So let's get to Friday, February 6th. Only 6 games of those, so we're going to wind things down. Going back to Boston once again. They moved to 34-18 with a 98-96 win over the Heat. They stayed big, starting Jaylen Brown at the 2, Sam Hauser at the 3, Luka Garza again at the 4. Celtics have gone from small ball to big ball at the 50-game mark. Nikola Vucevic made his debut, came off the bench, 11 points and 12 rebounds in 28 minutes. Neemias Queta, 2 points, 11 rebounds in this one. Jaylen Brown, 29 points. Derek White, 21. Peyton Pritchard, 24 off the bench. Sam Hauser, 2 points, 0 for 6 from 3, but he did play 35 minutes. Garza, only 10 minutes in this one. Did get the Keith Bogans, but still, like, what a development that they essentially, he was going to project as like not at all in the rotation as like a poor man's version of Vucevic, but instead he's starting at the 4, and they've just completely balanced out the rest of the lineup. They do have they have 2 roster spots that are open on this team, so I don't know if they might end up converting Ron Harper and Max Shulga. I'm not sure, because they would be on rookie minimums, which are cheaper than standard minimums. I'm not sure how far away they are from from having to pay the tax. So otherwise, like, they would be a prime target for somebody on the buyout market, but we'll see what happens there. They are going to have to add some players to standard contracts, though, in about 2 weeks. Miami, they dropped to 27-26. Andrew Wiggins made his return, had 26. Norm Powell also returned, had 24. Detroit, they moved to 38-13 with a 118-80 decimation of the Knicks. After losing to the Wizards, they took out their frustrations on the Knicks, ending the Knicks' 8-game winning streak. Obviously, also some revenge for what happened in the playoffs last year. Jalen Duren was out, so Stu got the start, had 15 points, was 6 of 7 from the field in only 21 minutes. Two-way player, Dennis Jenkins, he didn't get the start, but he did lead the way with 18. He should get converted to a standard deal over the weekend, which would come at the expense of Dario Saric, who was not active for this game. New York, they dropped to 33-19. Towns and OG were out, so it was an uphill battle for them. Brunson was huge in the last one, but in this one, 12 points, 4 of 20 from the field, so Detroit was able to shut him down in a big way. Mitchell Robinson and Mo Diawara got the start. Josh Hart also was still sidelined. Sorry. Josh Hart returned for this one and started at the 3. So Diawara starting at the 4 alongside Robinson. They had 4 points each. Knicks got rid of Yabusele, but they still need a 4. They need the player that Yabu was theoretically supposed to be for them. I'm calling it that it's going to be Haywood Highsmith that they end up signing on the buyout market, as he was waived by the Nets, so he's already residing in New York, and he was set to make his debut with the Nets on February 11th, according to his agent. So he is finally healthy as a 3-and-D player. He's exactly what the Knicks need at a small forward, power forward, so this would be an awesome pickup for them. There hasn't been any reporting on it, but it just makes way too much sense. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring. That's what I'm expecting it to happen. We'll see if it does. Milwaukee, they moved to 21 and 29 on the year, 105 to 99. They're on a 3-game winning streak, I believe. Kevin Porter Jr. made his return. They beat the Pacers, of course. They've had. Are the Bucks winning games, or are they just playing worse teams? KPJ returned to the starting lineup, had 23, 7, and 8. Kyle Kuzma was out for this one. Rollins 22. Jericho Sims got the start at the 4 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocks, which they again are just able to get away with because Miles Turner functionally is a stretch big. Portis made his return to the lineup, came off the bench. He had 21 points and 6 rebounds. Pacers, Zubats is not going to be suiting up for them just yet. He has been playing through an injury, apparently. So, plus the Pacers are still tanking. I don't think he was available. This is the day after the trade deadline, so I'm not sure if he was available anyway with the physicals and all that. But the Pacers, they are tanking to keep their pick. The protection on it is 1 through 4. So at 1 through 4 and 10 through 30. So the Clippers get the pick if it lands between 5 and 9. The Pacers are currently projected for number 2, the second worst record in the NBA. So the Clippers are making a bet that the Wizards, Pelicans, both of them with 14 wins, and the Nets also with 13 wins, and the Kings with 12 wins, that they can all out-tank Indiana, who has 13 wins. One of those teams is going to end up with the number 5 pick, in which case, if it's the Pacers, it would go to the Clippers. And that, again, is also never mind if a team or two moves up via ping pong balls, as was the case with Dallas and San Antonio. I'm sorry, Dallas and Philadelphia. And I think even San Antonio last year also moved up, right? So we had 3 teams that moved up via ping pong balls last year. So if that happens, like the Pacers are projected for the number 2 pick, but 3 other teams move up, then they become the number 5 pick. The pick then goes to the Clippers. So very shrewd, pick protections on this. Unfortunately, what that means is the Pacers are literally just going to be throwing games left and right over the second half of this year, in order to ensure that they need to keep that pick. They need to have the Halliburton, this gap year that they've had with Halliburton out. They need to get that lottery pick. If it doesn't convey to the Clippers this year, then it goes to the Clippers in like 2031 or 32 or something like that. So a high end, a high risk reward type of deal that the Clippers and Pacers were willing to make with this move. Nembhard had 22, Siakam 19. Those guys are obviously going to be shutdown candidates later in the year, given the protections that are on the Pacers draft pick now. The Pelicans, they moved to 14 and 40, as they didn't get the memo that they're supposed to be tanking. and well, I guess it doesn't matter for them because they have traded this pick. So yeah, they are trying to win games and try to not be a top 5 lottery team. 119 and 115 over the Wolves. They shot 54% in this game, so they have been playing a lot better over the last month or so. Saddiq Bey, 30 points for him. Zion, 29. Him starting essentially at point guard over Jeremiah Fears has really jump-started their recent tear that the Pels are on. Trey Murphy, likewise another big game, 26 for him, 6 of 10 from 3. He's on fire from there. Minnesota, they moved to 32 and 20, or they dropped to 32 and 21. Edwards, 35 points. Randall, 24. Bones with 20. Rudy, 12 and 16 off the bench. Called out the team's lack of effort, though, on defense, seemingly pointing it at the other starters on this team. Wolves are something like 18th in defense over the last month or so. Portland, They moved to 24 and 28, 135 to 115 over the Grizzlies. Despite being without Deni Avdija still, Scoot Henderson made his season debut. 11 points, 9 assists, 21 minutes off the bench. Nice to see him back. Vit Krejci, he made his Portland debut, had 11 points in 23 minutes off the bench. Drew added 20 and 7. Jeremy Grant with 23 as well. I believe Shaedon Sharpe only played 12 minutes, but I didn't actually research the reason. Let me do a quick Google. He had a calf injury, severity of which is unclear. All right, so hopefully he doesn't have to miss time. He's really been one of the rocks on the team this year with all injuries all around him. Grizz, likewise a season debut for them. This time getting Scottie Pippen Jr. back. He got the start at point guard in this one, had 13.6 assists. I did move his secondary to shooting guard just because there were so many point guards on this team. Ty Jerome did sit this one out, which is why he started at the 2. Pippen did. Walter Clayton made his debut, had 5 and 5 in 21 minutes. Cam Spencer led the way with 18 points in 26 minutes off the bench. Maybe it makes sense to move him to the 2, but we'll just see how the Memphis rotation kind of shakes itself out. Omax Prosper, he got the start at the 5 in this one as Aldama and Kyle Anderson and KCP were all out. So, yeah, the Grizzlies were extremely short-handed up front in this one. The Clippers, they moved to 23 and 27 on the year with a 114-111 win over the Kings. Brook Lopez got the start, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 35 minutes. Derrick Jones Jr. made his return to action, had 13 points in 27 minutes, played shooting guard in this game. Starting lineup of Dunn, Jones, Kawhi, Collins, and Lopez. So that's an interesting assortment. I don't believe Isaiah Jackson and company were cleared yet for this game. Darius Garland, of course, still sidelined with his toe injury. So Kawhi led the way with 31. Collins also chipping in 22. It is the Kings, of course, that they beat. Kings dropped their 11th straight game. DeAndre Hunter, 6 points, 1 of 8 from the field, picking up where he left off in Cleveland. Not a great second game for him. They ended up basically benching all the starters down the stretch of a game that they lost by 3. So, yeah, they are trying to likewise play the numbers game and get a high lottery pick. Kings will probably play the young guys a lot more down the stretch over the second half. 20 minutes for DeRozan, 20 for Westbrook, 19 for Levine. Sabonis sat this one out as well. Worth noting, Dylan Cardwell signed a 4-year standard contract deal, had 14 points, 14 rebounds in 31 minutes off the bench. He's been a really awesome find for them. And we did it. We knocked out 4 days of NBA games in the span of an hour. Not a lot of ratings content, but yeah, there was just so much to talk about league-wide, a lot of position changes, etc. So I hope you guys enjoyed those insights. Now that it's my weekend, I'm off of work the next 2 days, I am going to dive in a little bit with the ratings, badges, etc. I still have about half of the official 2K roster update that I need to crunch. So yeah, just a whole lot of cleanup I'm doing this week. I will see you guys later tonight, as I am gonna I am gonna get back to a daily schedule with the videos. There's just, there was so much with the trade deadline and everything this week that it wasn't really feasible for me to do daily videos. So I did this little end of the week dump. I think you guys, in general, for YouTube and everything, it is better to have shorter videos for engagement purposes rather than like these hour-long dumps. Because I'm not at like a professional level where, like, I hope you guys enjoy the fact that I'm doing like a one-man podcast essentially for 60 minutes. I'm putting a lot of work into these episodes, but I don't have sponsorships or anything like that, so it's not like hugely beneficial. I just want to bring all this stuff to you guys and unload my notebook of thoughts. Thanks again for watching. I will see you guys later tonight. Peace out.